Hi, my name is Wendy, and I want to just talk to you for a short period of time about the protein myth and how the animal protein myth, how we all feel that somehow we need animal protein to survive. Now, protein is important. It's one of the 6 essential nutrients that we need to function. It's protein, fats, carbohydrates, water, vitamins, and minerals. And the carbohydrates are the complex carbohydrates. A lot of people say carbs, but there are 2 very different types of carbohydrates, simple and complex. And the complex are what we need, simple ones, no. So protein was first isolated from animals in 1839 by a Dutch chemist named Mulder, M-U-L-D-E-R. And where the myth started was he only isolated it from animals, and that's where the whole myth started, that somehow we need animal protein to survive, when it's plant protein that we need. So I would, first of all, I always suggest do your research. There's some great books. There's Clean Protein, which I highly recommend. It's a wonderful book. I don't have a copy of it, but I have read it. Dr. Garth Davis wrote a great book called Proteinaholic, and he is quoted as saying the more animal food you eat, the more obese people are, overweight, and the sicker you are. There's also this Meat Hooked book, which is an excellent history of how this all began too. So those are 3 definites I would recommend. I'd also recommend going to Googling Physicians Committee for Responsible Medicine. The head of that is Dr. Neil Bernard. He's a plant-based doctor, and he said that giving up meat, animal food, red meat, is like equivalent to the low cholesterol lowering medications. Esselstyn, Dr. Esselstyn, who is a cardiologist, well-known, well-written, calls heart disease a paper tiger, and he's a plant-based doctor too. So the organizations would be Physicians Committee. Also Google Forks Over Knives. You can go to their site. There's all kinds of plant-based recipes available and information. And the other one would be Food Revolution, which is the 2 people who head that up are John Robbins and his son Ocean Robbins. And you'd find recipes there too. Now John Robbins, the father, was the son and heir to the Baskin-Robbins ice cream empire. He grew up with a swimming pool in the shape of an ice cream cone. So when he was there in his early 20s, he recognized what would you call, the myth of protein, and changed to a plant-based diet. And he wrote one of the first books I read, Diet for a New America. It's a classic now. And so you can go to their site and see recipes and information too. So please, this is just a little glimpse. Please go there and learn more why. So it's been proven, like the U.S. eats more animal protein than any other country in the world except Iceland. And it has the most overweight, it has the most diabetes, the most cancer rates, heart disease, and the lowest in longevity, which means the shortest lived people. So you can get this whole idea of protein, you can get from plants. The highest plants that have protein in them are peas, hemp, amaranth, long grain brown rice, quinoa, are some of the highest ones, but you also have, broccoli and kale and the beans, chickpeas, you know, put chickpeas in your salad. Did I say? I think I said sweet potatoes and leafy greens, yellow vegetables, flaxseed, sesame seeds. You know, an ounce of nuts or seeds. You know how little bit an ounce is? I mean, it's like, you know, in the palm of your hand. Is the same protein as a cup of skim milk. So we've just, you know, I've heard so many people go, I've got to eat my animal food or I feel weak. That's just indoctrination. I mean, the whole campaign of beef, it's what's for dinner, you know, the millions were spent on those campaigns to convince you that you had to eat animal foods. I mean, the revenue from the meat industry is $250 million a year. I mean, this is a business. This is not about your health and well-being. All the major organizations are saying, don't eat processed meats anymore. Eat more plant-based foods. It's all changing around, but once again, the meat, eggs, poultry industry, the dairy industry are all huge lobbyists, and it's a business. So there is, you know, there's no fiber in animal food whatsoever. So I keep saying, you know, I have worked with people personally who, you know, had a lifetime of constipation, and they start taking out the dairy and having green smoothies every day, and cured, you know, those commercials on TV that says everybody is constipated. They said, what, animals and birds? And I saw that the other day, and I said, no, not everybody. It's not normal. It was for some drug of some kind. So I really want you to not buy into the myth that that you can only get protein from animals. I am, you know, going on 68 years old this month. I did one of the most stressful jobs in the world, caregiving, for almost 4 decades. I'm caregiving an Alzheimer's patient right now. I'm on no medications whatsoever. I walk a minimum of 4 to 6 miles a day, less in the hot weather, more in the cooler weather. You know, I still can sit cross-legged and, you know, get up and down off the floor pretty easily. So, you know, I'm very grateful to this lifestyle. Your eating animal protein increases your risks for all the major diseases. Let me just check my list here, because I had a couple of notes I wanted to remember to definitely share with you. United States children and adults eat 50% more protein, than animal protein, than they need. And the studies are coming through more and more that it's the excess of animal protein that is causing the skyrocketing of the diseases. Plant protein you can eat as much as you want. You're not going to have any of these side effects. So this is just something to keep in mind. Alzheimer's is linked to animal protein consumption, and you have some choices. You know, if you're really concerned about the protein still, I mean, I get it from the foods I eat. But if you're still concerned, and one of the foods I eat, you know, that replaces meat is something maybe you've never heard, something called tempeh. This is a teriyaki tempeh, and I cut it up like you would meat and put it in different sautés and dishes of all kinds. I can even just heat it up and put it in a sandwich with, you know, lettuce and salad. And for me, it's delicious. But this is just an example. It's Rhapsody. The company is Rhapsody out of Vermont. But say you just still, you know, it takes time. I know it takes time because it's so in our face that we need protein or somehow we're going to just wither away. Well, there's some good plant protein alternatives. This one is from Garden of Life. It's vegan, gluten-free, GMO, no GMOs. And you just put a scoop of that. I would put it in a smoothie, but you could put it in, a nut milk, or you could put it in a glass of water even. And, if you just were still concerned about plant protein, you could add something like that about protein. So with these types of plant protein, you're fine, and you're not going to have any of the diseases that are side effects of excess protein, animal protein. Another company, that was Garden of Life, another company that I just found out about that's really, really good. It comes out of Canada, but it's distributed through Natural Factor in the States. And it's called Whole Earth and Sea. It's vegan. It's both of these are from foods, which is another thing I like. And the scrutiny in Canada on anything like this is a vitamin, but they make a plant protein powder too, which is what I just couldn't find it today. But so I just brought this one instead. The scrutiny in Canada is very, very strict. So you're going to get a very clean product. This is a really high quality, clean product, just so you know. And if you're looking for a multivitamin and mineral, I'd say it's pretty excellent. Okay, I don't work for any of these people. I just keep looking for good products, good quality products that I can share with other people. And I guess I'll end with a story. The story I want to tell you is happened, Bree would have been 38 now. So I would say at least 30 some years ago. And some friends were visiting and we went out to supper and we were choosing what to eat. And I was choosing foods that were non-animal, no animal in my food. And I remember the husband getting very upset with me, and it's not like I was saying anything, it was just my choice. And he wanted me to eat some meat of some kind, or some dairy or something. So he was getting really upset, and I'll never forget the conversation because I never said anything about what he was eating. I actually said to him, I'm not saying anything about what your choices are. Why are you so upset with my choices? And the sad thing is that in his early 40s, late 30s, early 40s, he had two young family, two young children, and he died of a major heart attack alone. And I'll never forget that. What a waste, and never getting to see his children grow up. But he was so obsessed with, well, he was eating meat, but that I was supposed to too. And I've made it a practice that if I go anywhere, I take my own food, I choose what I want, but it's not my business to say anything about what anybody else is eating or their choices. If people ask me, fine, and I can share information like this of alternatives that are out there. And then it's absolutely everybody's choice, whatever. If I go to someone's house, like I will this weekend, I will take my own food. I do not expect them to cook for me. I'll take a non-dairy cheesecake, something like that, to share with them to see what they think of it. But, if they don't like it, it's okay too. So I think the saddest thing was, I'll never forget that, how upset he was that I didn't want to eat animal food. And now he's not here anymore and didn't get to see his children grow up. And he was a big meat eater. He was a big animal food eater. So, food for thought. Thank you so much.